Okay, let's start. Hi, my name is Claire, and I am in the EFL English as a Foreign Language group with Hope and Eric. So I'm going to get started with the first slide. Here we go. Okay, so we chose our target student population, which is 15 South Korean adults ranging in age from 26 to 60. The students will be attending night classes twice a week for 2 hours for an entire semester. All of the students are high, beginner to low intermediate, and they want to focus on reading and speaking skills to feel better when they're traveling and to talk about media and things like that. Okay, so a needs analysis of these Korean students. So the focus mainly on speaking and listening, sorry, not reading. And some things that they will have to overcome is being in a classroom with all different ages, because Korean is an honorific society. So they speak to older people differently, younger people, people of their own age, really respectful. So that's going to be hard to be in a class with all different ages. Students will also probably be used to very teacher-focused learning. So kind of switching that and having it focus on the students, I think, will be hard. Something to watch out for. They also will probably prefer rote learning methods because that's what they're used to doing in their schooling here. And Korea is a very high context culture, where, say, the United States is very low context. So that's also something to keep in mind. So students are formally studying English to improve their conversation skills, overall comprehension of media, and to feel more comfortable and prepared to speak English when traveling abroad. So here are some objectives. Recall travel terms, apply and comprehend these through questions, role-playing, and listening. Also being able to comprehend social media messages, advertisements, news outlets in English. Talking about popular movies and understanding their meanings and messages, and also to be able to talk about their likes, dislikes, weekend activities, hobbies, etc. So yeah, Hope, you want to go into your part?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Hope, and I kind of did the methods section. So we read two articles there, Words and Worlds, English as a Second Language Students in Adult Basic Education Literacy Programs, and then also do South Korean adult learners like native English speaking teachers more than Korean teachers of English. And these two, oh, can you see
Yeah.
my slide right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm sorry to take a pause when I presented. I just want to make sure everyone can see the information. But these two articles are kind of the basis of what I structured the methods around. And my two takeaways from these articles is it's really important to practice cultural responsive teaching. So just being very inclusive of the students' culture, language, and also their knowledge background, making sure we as teachers were acknowledging all three of those facets, so students really feel comfortable and included and respected within our classroom. Some personal stories were shared in both of the articles about how when teachers kind of just disconnected the students' world from their world, it was harder to stay focused in class, and it was kind of insulting in a way. So just making sure we're being very inclusive and including culture within our classroom. A quote I really liked was, "Thus teachers should investigate their students' world and words to bring their reality, as opposed to the teacher's reality, into the classroom." So while it is important to teach American culture, we shouldn't exclude any other cultures in the classroom. And the second one is just practicing providing an active learning opportunities in every lesson. It was also voiced in these articles that sometimes, since there is a variation of different language levels in a classroom, the stronger students would just dominate the discussion. And some of the students that didn't have those levels of language ability kind of had to take the back seat, and they just listened and they weren't able to engage as much with material. So making sure we're providing opportunities for all students to learn. So this really mandates like a lot of modifications and just active learning opportunities. And also we want to include real life experience within the classroom, since we are working with adults, and both these articles voiced the importance of that. So kind of moving on into our activities, could you switch the slide for me, Claire?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So we're going to start with the Seinfeld movie clip. We decided on this clip because the body language is very dramatic. So we thought it would be great for students to kind of see and focus on that element. So the first time we watch this clip, it'll be muted and just kind of taking in how the characters look and express their emotion when they're going through this. And I want to pause, like after we watch it without any sound, have students have a structured discussion about what they think is going on in the clip. This just allows them to really engage with what's happening. And also, body language is such a strong communication device. So I think it is important to kind of see that in an American TV show. And then again, we'll watch the same clip, but with volume, so students get a more well-rounded picture of what's going on. And we'll also have a structured discussion around this clip that we watched. And then lastly, we're going to review terms that were shown in this clip and create a word wall. And then also kind of, the clip that we're showing is about one of the characters when she wakes up late for a flight. Um, but and it's kind of like we want to use those terminology with flights and planes and preparation, but we also want to include some other travel terms. So this will be decided by teachers and students input some secondary words we can add to our word wall. And then the students will role play with a script that's somewhat similar to the Seinfeld clip. We did this so it wouldn't be like too big of a step, just kind of easing students into the curriculum or the content. And they'll work in pairs. And we think it's really important that first they practice in their pairs. And once they think they've really like feel comfortable with this scene, they'll record themselves and based off that video kind of give themselves self-reflect and give themselves critiques and then also their partners just to kind of take it one step farther. And then they'll have time to improve their act and perform it in front of the class. Again, our students will be paired with someone within similar language skills, and also if we can find a way that they're also paired with somebody within their same age group, just so they're more comfortable, since as previously discussed, that is a Korean culture where speaking to different age levels is something that's a little more structured in that culture. Go to the next slide. Thank you. And then we'll do a mini group discussion. So the teachers will put students in groups of 3 to 4, and they'll discuss their traveling aspirations, past trips, likes and dislikes on traveling, and they'll also pick a location for their mock trip. And again, these students will be divided into like groups based on their language levels and, if possible, age levels as well. And then we're looking at this mock trip as kind of our real life experience element. They'll work in groups to plan a trip. So looking at, real airline websites and figuring out how they would book their tickets for, a plane, a bus, train, whatever it might be, finding a place to stay, a place to eat, and finding one activity to do. And they have to find all this information through a travel agency using Yelp or any other popular travel mediums to kind of just connect that into the real life so that they would feel more comfortable doing that in the future if they had to do that in, an American or English setting. And then lastly, students still working in their previous groups will write a script for the speech act that they might use while traveling. So this could be like a request, an apology, any of the speech acts that we're familiar with. And the script should include terms from the word wall, so also using our content vocabulary, and it should be in relation to traveling. And then they'll kind of do that exact same practice where the groups practice their script multiple times. When they feel it's perfect, they video themselves, critique themselves, practice more, and then perform in front of the class. And those are our activities. So I'll pass it over to Eric.
Hello, everyone. So for our materials for this particular lesson, the majority of the materials revolve around the sources for the instruction and the activities for the learners. With this in mind, authentic materials are recommended in hopes of giving the learners a taste of real-world conversation. By using authentic dialogue, students will be motivated by the entertaining exchange. By authentic cultural information about the target culture, students will get a better picture of what American society is like and better capture the pragmatics of American English. They'll also be exposed to real language, which is always helpful, and create their own plans suiting their own needs for their future travel arrangements, which will kind of give them an idea of what language they would require in order to be able to use these terms that they're learning. With near universal access to the internet, there's no reason why we can't provide engaging multimedia media, such as Seinfeld video clips. Relating to the student's needs and interests through materials is the best way to better develop the student's English abilities. Next slide, please. Yeah, a script handout has also been created so the students can follow along with the video clip, as not all students may have the same proficiency level, and it may be helpful to improve the accessibility of the English used in the video clip. The second item is a brief questionnaire to help students kind of be guided in the word wall activity, and it allows them for a bit of self-reflection on the video clip and what they saw particularly and what stood out to them and what English they might be missing. The goal being to show the student what they do not know by what words they do know. Student role play script has also been created, and those students will break into pairs. The script is similar to the video scene, however, key aspects were changed in order to avoid redundancy and keep the material engaging. And finally, a worksheet has been created to provide direction for the final activity. Next slide. Sources. Oh, thanks,
There one
everyone.
more. Wow, hold on. We did this one. Are we good? Is that finished?
I guess we didn't really cover the sources, but I said the name of the slide, so that counts, right?
Right, yeah. And I think Hope kind of said the sources as well. Okay, this is our presentation. Yay, thanks for watching.
Yay.